Hello, 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 beautiful friends. Welcome to the Love Your Life show. And I'm so excited to have you here today. Yes, it's Beverley Buckley here. And today we're going to be speaking about your authentic voice. I have Lizete here with me today, and she's going to actually be speaking to us about getting in touch with your authentic voice and who you truly are. Lizete is a transformational change expert, a corporate trainer, speaker, and also life coach. She is passionate about improvement and empowerment and supports others to reach their highest potential. Yes, I know. I love getting high with Lizete. It's amazing. In business, in life, and in relationships. Through her transformative training and coaching, she is here to help inspire your approach to living your life and work with more abundance while making it all feel like a delightful adventure. Oh, just what I like. Okay, before starting her own business, Authentic Pro, in 2012, Lizete built a career spanning 15 years in the areas of finance, supply chain management, program management, business excellence, corporate communication, and training. Working for different Fortune 500 countries like Time Warner, ModuSync, and the TomTom supply chain. I don't know if I said that right. And Abbott Laboratories. Lizete continued to study during these years, completing her MBA degree and various other degrees, including Lean Six Sigma, NLP Master, pretty cool, transformational leadership, and business and life coaching. So today we have got such a treat with Lizete. She's going to be speaking to us about finding your authentic voice and the 3 keys that are specifically necessary for you to find your unique voice, your authentic voice. So without further ado, and all my excitement that I have right now, I'm going to introduce Lizete. Here we go. Lizete, you there?
Hi, Beverley. Such a pleasure to be here.
Very, 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 very exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so awesome to have you on the show, and I know like a lot of the coaches or people that we've been ladies that we've been interviewing, because we've mostly got ladies on the show are obviously working a lot with like crystals and like energy healing, which is amazing. But I find that with what you're doing, it's also a lot to do with more of the corporate and bringing these tools and ideas into the corporate environment. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are now, and what your vision is with the goodies that you play with every day.
Oh, wonderful. So, yes, I tend to find that my work is much more, it's a little different in the sense that I was always a spiritual person, but I was a very practical person too. And one of the things that I learned really early on was I never want to be spiritual that I'm no earthly good. You know what I mean? So I always looked for application. Everything that I'd learn about, I'd use application. And I actually started corporate life because I wanted to go into a spiritual life. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a trainer. I knew that's what I was born to do. But those doors weren't open for me at that point. So I was led to go into business. And I actually became very successful at business. Not because I was a corporate person, but because I was a very, very spiritual person putting into practice things that just work wonderfully. So that has then developed into people starting to pay attention. I started being a counselor. I started becoming a coach. And eventually, and now I'm a trainer who teaches corporate people authenticity as a way to really find their confidence, their charisma, and their power within work. And authentic voice, I mean, I'm not dealing only with professional people, but just women in general, and conscious women, awakened women, and bringing them to their full potential and their full power. Also at work, which is an important element of their life, of course.
That's amazing. That's so wonderful. And I love that it's like a lot of, it almost feels like there's a lot of feminine energy that's like igniting and expanding and stepping into the fullness of being. It's not even to do necessarily with male or female, it's to do with feminine energy, which I find is quite interesting. And it's wonderful that you work with women in work to find their play within what they do. Yes?
Absolutely, because a lot of corporate women are burning out, and a lot of it's because, and I burned out, so I walked that journey. I was the corporate woman who was burning out and turned to coaching. My relationship was falling apart, and it was such a beautiful point in my life because it led me into what I do now, which I believe is my real calling. But now I can go back and refer to those women, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be this uphill struggle of I've got to make it in this man's world in the way that men do it, because we're just very different. And I find it's not even a question of am I, feminine energy, masculine. I notice I have both. I use them interchangeably. I use them to serve me, but I always can ground back into who I really am, and that is where the power is.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I love that it's about integration now. It's not about either or right or wrong or left or right or man or woman. It's about integrating all of these things that we are and that we have, and that you're able to bring that forward so beautifully in the workplace, as well as within people, specifically more working with women though, but bringing that awareness in.
Yes, incredibly. And this is just a note to let you know how this evolution of this work is happening. Most of my corporate clients now, like really doing one-on-one extensive long-term training with me, are actually corporate directors, men, who are looking for a different way because it's not even working for them anymore.
Wow. Wow. How amazing.
So that's exciting for us. Our men are coming. Our men are coming.
I love it. I love it. And it's so nice to be able to see, it's quite, it's quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiring, maybe, to see men who are able to connect with their feminine side, or if you want to call it that. Not that they're being effeminate, but they're actually just connecting with that feminine energy within them, and how it really changes who they are and the choices that they make, and how they become a bit more relatable. It almost feels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They serve their teams much better. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm excited because we're going to be talking about the 3 keys to living your authentic voice. And you're going to be taking us through these lovely little keys for us to play with and to use in our lives, work, play, home, wherever. So let us know a little bit about that, Lizete.
Okay. So this was actually an inspired teaching that kind of accumulates, and this again is not something I learned overnight or one aha moment. It's really been a journey, for me. And as I was, coming up with authentic voice and coming up with, I really want to bring this work forward of consciousness, of understanding, of growth to these amazing women. I was very touched by the butterfly. So I use this butterfly as kind of like my metaphor throughout these 3 lessons. And I call them the 3 lessons of wisdom from a butterfly.
Wow.
The first one, and we just want to reflect that back to our own transformation. And basically, it's going to reveal a lot about our journey. Now, my opinion today is that our journey does not have to be difficult. It is the road less traveled, and it is a courageous road. But once we awaken, I find that we can't go back to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
But the journey after we awaken has been so painful for so many people. And I've seen such accomplished women. We've shown up for the seminars, we've done the work, we've got the coaches, and we're still struggling. There's still that we haven't tapped in to the fullness of joy that we can feel is just on the other side. And I really hope that these lessons will kind of break us a bit free from that and bring us closer to that ease in which we can bring forth our transformation. So, lesson number 1 that I absolutely love from our beautiful butterfly is that transformation is a perfect and natural process. Okay. And we hear that and we say, well, that just makes sense, because the caterpillar is born and it knows that it will always become a caterpillar. You see, it knows. It's in its DNA. It's the way it is. It's the journey it's going to lead. So it's very relaxed, and it trusts in the divine course of things. You see? And it's kind of living each moment in perfection, like eating its leaves and just moving on with day-to-day business. Now, why it's so important for us to realize this, that it is a divine and natural process, is because most of us don't deal with like this at all. Many of the women that I've encountered on my journey, and myself included, after I was doing all the work and not tapping into this brilliance, this wonder, this joy, we feel it's innately ours, but we can't reach it. And I couldn't figure out for the longest time what that was. And it's because we actually don't trust this process. We don't really surrender to it. We don't divinely know that we will eventually be okay. You know, we will actually get there to our destination. And I've been a spiritual person my whole life, been in personal development for at least 20 years, read the books, went to the workshop, and I was still innately unhappy, unfulfilled in my own life. I just wasn't enjoying the experience. I really didn't like it here. Wanted to go home. It was so hard. It was so exhausting. And no matter what I did, I wasn't enough, you see, until I had this divine moment of insight. And that's normally what will happen, like in this journey, as we push through, they will have these glimpses of knowing. This particular one happened. I was in a corporate meeting. It had gone really well. And I was walking back to a train station. And I remember I was beating myself up about how I should have said this and I could have done that. And something else should have happened. And it was so exhausting. And then I got this thought that changed everything. And the thought was, I just wish I could be that Lizete that I'm supposed to be. And then I kind of stopped in my tracks. And I remember just stopping in the street and thinking about what I just thought about. And it was as obvious as day. You see, the reason that we're working so hard on improving ourselves is because innately what we're doing unconsciously is setting in an illusion that the best version of myself is somewhere outside of who I am. So I want to become this certain person, and she feels a certain way, she acts a certain way, she responds a certain way, but she's not me, you see, because I'm not perfect. So actually what I'm cultivating here, in essence, is self-rejection. How amazing is that, right?
Wow.
So here in all my efforting, I'm actually creating self-rejection.
Rejection, exactly. Because you're trying and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying. And like, what is that in Star Wars? There is no try. There is just do.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, that's on my phone. Yes, I wasn't going to speak about Yoda, but yes.
I must tell you a funny story. My father said he doesn't want to be called, because he's now got his first grandchild with my brother and his wife, and he said he doesn't want to be called grandpa or granddad because he's only 50. So he said he wants to be called Grandpa Yoda. No, he didn't even say grandpa. He wants to be called Yoda. Yeah, he wants to be called Yoda. So now the little boy, he goes, Grandpa Yoda.
Gorgeous.
Anyway, sidetrack. Here we go. There we go. Back to, just don't try. Don't reject yourself. Just do.
Exactly. Right? So just be that. But it's not so easy, I discovered, just to be ourselves, you see. Because in that moment of understanding the self-rejection that I was doing, and I was criticizing myself and censoring myself and punishing myself, I was also like kind of forcing and pushing and efforting through this transformation of this said person I was supposed to be. And unlike our butterfly, our wise butterfly, who just like kind of trust the process, even though I said I was a woman of faith, I didn't really trust it, because look at all the effort that I was supposed to do. And it's really interesting to see that so many people are really putting their happiness like in front of them. Like, when I have the relationship, I'll be happy. When I have the promotion, I'll be happy. And that's kind of like the cycle I was in until I got this of, I'm not supposed to be anyone else. I am actually exactly who I'm supposed to be. Now, when I understood all of this, I also understood that I kind of, every piece, and you check in your heart if this is true, and also our beautiful guests online, check if this is true for you. Every time I feel frustrated, every time we feel angry or disappointed, it's actually because we wanted to say something. We feel it in our being. That by the time it comes up our system and it goes through our head and out of our mouths, it's something different. And what we've done is we've sold ourselves out. Now, the minute we stop doing that, frustration alleviates in our world. But I also understood, if I was going to say my piece and just say whatever comes up, OMG, it would be an atomic bomb. I would blow everyone's sky high. There was way too much tension. There was way too much anger, right?
Yes.
I said, okay, well, I can't do this. So authentic voice is not just about speaking your voice, but it's really about becoming the love that you truly are, so that you can trust your voice implicitly, so that your heart is always in service. You know exactly how to be in each moment, because you're just being your beautiful self in all trust in who you are.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't ever feel like you have to censor yourself or whatever, because you
Mm.
know that in every moment, whatever you say, even if it sounds like to somebody else that should be censored or it shouldn't be said, you recognize that it doesn't matter, because what you are saying and what you are expressing is perfect. It is divine, and it is exactly what needs to be expressed, even if it is like anger or those kinds of things as well.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and sometimes even with anger, sometimes when we feel like we need to express anger, it's because our boundaries have been overstepped, and
Hmm.
we need to reestablish, hey, this is not okay, you know?
That's right. That's right. So moving into this trust and surrender, really loving and coming back to the love that we are,
Mm.
without actually and seeing this amazing perfection that I was, you think, okay, do I have to give up the rest of my dreams? And this is the upside to it all. The dreams actually showed up so much faster
Mm-hmm.
because once I got all my stuff out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
life could just come with to me, and we could start playing in this beautiful flow of the unfolding of the
Mm.
natural process, which is I'm supposed to turn into a butterfly. And
Wow.
we feel this greatness in us, and it's natural.
Yes.
It's divinely ordered. We are this amazing butterfly.
Yes.
We might not look like one right now, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay too, because the caterpillar has total no self-rejection. He's absolutely cool.
He's happy munching on his leaves and just carrying on.
He's going about his business. And it was so amazing because actually in this whole rejection thing, when we look at it at an energetic level, we have a process to run. We will always walk this journey, whether we are in agreement with it or not. Life kind of does that to us. So transformation is happening, period. But I can either take it through a very hard road of all this figuring out and trying to incrementally change, or I can go into this flow, and we all know which one we'd prefer, I'm sure. But
Mm-hmm.
one is really based on fear, I'm not enough, really focusing on what not is not yet. So unfortunately, it just keeps on bringing what is not, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are creating this amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed that the minute I focused on the love that I was, the perfection that was present, and the gratitude, everything would it just kind of started coming to me. And this journey has led me out of a corporate cushy job, but it's helped me to start 2 new businesses, which I absolutely love.
Mm.
Led me out of debt into financial freedom in 2 years, something I thought
Wow.
was impossible. And
Yes.
it led me to the relationship that I've always dreamt of, and I never ever thought it was possible. See, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people come to me in coaching and they'll say, Lizette, can you share with me about relationships and getting the love of my life and so on? And I'll say, yes, let's do the authentic voice work first. And they're like, oh, no, I'm fine. It's the guys that we need to compare.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No, but if we can just do this work, it is incredible what unfolds.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. Because I think even with the things that you experience in your life, from it being like your job or your family or relationships or your body or your health or all of those things, it's just a reflection of how you aren't loving yourself, or how you aren't in connection and authenticity with yourself. And it's just like the world is just a mirror, just
That's
saying,
right.
look at this, look here, look here, look here. Just if you just loved yourself, that would change. Just love yourself, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet, I was sharing with a lovely lady I met just this weekend, and we were talking exactly about this, and how she was actually talking about her relationship, and I was telling her how she could rekindle this dying attraction. And I started with her loving herself. This was the key, as long as I'm feeling unattractive, as long as I'm feeling unworthy, this is exactly what I'm projecting energetically to my mates. And so, of course, that's the response. But
Exactly.
then she said, but how do I love myself?
Mm-hmm.
You see, we say love yourself, but it's not something it's natural to us as awakened women, but it's not in the system. We haven't been programmed. We haven't been taught how to do this.
Yes.
On the contrary, we've been told that it's actually selfishness, and it's not the right way. So there is a lot of, and I notice when I coach, I have to coach on like 4 different levels at any given time. I'm always teaching on a mind level because this framework really needs reprogramming and reorganizing, and the heart level and the soul level and even the body level, because we feel it everywhere. So yeah, absolutely.
So it is very much about it is very much about accessing all of these different levels and giving each of these levels the message of love, so that each part of these levels feels it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it can come into complete alignment. You see, a lot of us feel discomfort in our world, and we feel discomfort in our relationships or the situations that are happening. And we resist that discomfort. We say, oh, that feels bad, and we'll resist it. Or we'll try to change it, or we'll distract from it. But actually, one of the greatest lessons that I've learned was that even these bad feelings, they're not bad, and energy doesn't know good or bad. But what it is it's pointing to where I am not in alignment with myself. So every time I feel a bad emotion, it's like, oh, I've lost my center. I've gone off center. There's something here that's not really me. That's not true to me. So therefore, it's a gift, really. And the question is not, can I push away the bad feeling, but it's more, what have you come to share with me? It's almost like a divine messenger, literally. Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. I just want to also mention that we've got some ladies in the room, and Rosanna is saying, hi, beautiful Lizete, and hi, sweet Beverley. So if any of you would like to say something in the chat, you're welcome to ask any questions. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to share anything as we're going through, you're very welcome to share. We'd love to hear from you, which is amazing. Yes. And it's really fun to actually have you with us, Lizete, with this. I mean, it's something, I can be honest to say that finding authentic voice has been something that I have personally struggled with, if you want to call it struggled, but it's not really struggle, because it's just the process.
Unfolding, yes.
Unfolded. And to the point that, I mean, I've always been a singer, but when I was a child and I used to sing, especially when I was practicing my singing, you've got to do really funny sounds. And I remember my father once saying to me, "Oh my God, it sounds like you're killing a dog." You know, and then I took that very personally, and it kind of blocked my singing capabilities, because I thought, I'm not a singer. And you know, the whole story of, why don't you whistle? Because you can't sing. Can you whistle? And the funny thing is, I can't whistle. So
you gotta sing. You were born to sing.
So that's something like a lot of it is a process, and it is something that you grow into. And I think sometimes we reject ourselves before anyone else has rejected us.
Absolutely.
People are just reflecting our own rejection of ourselves. Yeah.
Absolutely. So our second lesson, are you ready for the second lesson?
Yes, second one.
The second lesson that the butterfly told me is that you are the unique you. And we hear these things and we think, oh, we just fly over it, you know, because I heard it before. But again, this is not to be taken lightly, because this is not how we normally interact. So whereas lesson one is really, how am I loving me? How am I interacting with me? This second point is more like, how am I interacting with other people? And what is my relationships based on? And I noticed that until I really stood in the uniqueness of me, which means there has never been another to emerge like this, and to speak like this, and to sound like this. What I would do is I would do what I call the 3 C's of killing relationships, which is comparison. We are always measuring ourselves up, right? So is Beverley wearing feathers? Okay, I'm also, I'm doing okay.
We didn't plan that. It was perfectly.
We didn't plan it, did we? It was beautiful. Thank God we passed that stage. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we're constantly measuring ourselves up.
Yes.
And we are using that comparison to compete, you see. Second C is competition. We get into competition, rivalry, jealousy, all these kind of things. And it really is strange, because this leads us straight into the third one, which is control. And I noticed that comparison, competition, and control are like these 3 things that we have to unravel.
Wow.
You see, because they are keeping us away from our truth and who we really are. Yeah, it's incredible.
You just like completely blew open like a whole mental like light bulb right there. It went poof, like wow. Because honestly, the control thing has been, especially in the last week, we're leaving for Peru soon for 6 months. So the control thing is really up in my face right now, like very much.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I've recognized is you don't even know that you're controlling, because it's so much a part of the system and what we get taught as normal. You can't even see it. And I'm seeing all this controlling stuff, and I'm like, I'm not controlling, but oh my God, I'm so controlling.
And sometimes we call that control just good organization, right?
Oh,
and we kind of
yeah.
I've done that. I've called it that.
Exactly. And like even with my fiance, I sometimes say, oh, do I always have to be your PA? Because it just happens to land in my lap, because I just do it. I don't.
Just took it.
You know?
Yeah, you took it. Absolutely. But it's so funny, because control is actually so alien to our true nature of love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's normally because we're just so scared of outcomes, or what's going to happen, what are they going to say, what are they going to do, and we're not trusting ourselves, we're not trusting them, and we've literally gone into separation. And of course, that control, feeded by fear, is going to be taking us out of alignment. Mm-hmm. And that's why, for me, for a long time, it was really interesting, my relationships with people, and wondering why things were going wrong and why I couldn't connect to this. And this lesson for me really changed my world in how I relate to other people, because I used to ultimately, where the first one's creating rejection, this one's creating judgment, and judging everything and everyone as it's showing up, and kind of putting them in 3 categories. And I used to call them the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, the good was, it's probably similar to me, I can deal with it, it feels comfortable, it's my universe. And bad was like, you stepping on my values, that's not right, and ugly was like, you just too weird, I can't wrap my head around you.
Stay away.
Absolutely right. And here comes our incredibly wise butterfly, and he's just appreciating his uniqueness, because every single butterfly is different, and they don't compare among themselves. And now I could finally relate to other people, because when we're in judgment, I've always heard like judgment creates separation, but what on earth does that mean? Okay. So this is the way I figured it out, or the way that it resonates with my soul, and why it's so important. Because separation doesn't seem to be very important until you really feel separation in your system. And I realized that to kind of keep us safe, if I have to compare with you, and I have to compete with you, and I have to control, then it means I need some sort of wall, right? And we create these walls between people because we're protecting ourselves. The only problem is that as we have the wall up, it's taking away what we hunger for the most, which is connection.
Yes.
You see? So in the efforts of protecting ourselves, we are destroying ourselves, and we are aching for the one thing that I really, really want. And it's been incredible as I've been living in my authentic voice that people will always say, I always feel so great with you. And the reason they're feeling so great with me is because I'm not judging them, ever. Ever. You are so welcome. You are so beautiful. You are so amazing as you are. And yes, I'm discerning where you are in your journey, because there's some people that they really, really not ready to kind of move into my house and sit on my couch. And, we of course discern, but we love and serve everyone without judgment. And now my heart is wide open to everyone. And this terrifies a lot of people, because what if they hurt me? Well, they can't hurt you if you didn't need anything from them. You see, you can only hurt you if you're not awakened to see what is and what's happening and what's showing up. Does that make sense?
It makes such amazing sense, because even with the control thing and that the other people thing, is I sometimes recognize people will say to me, and this does sometimes happen with my fiance, so I'm kind of ratting him out a little bit here, but anyway, but sometimes he'll say to me, oh my God, like that person did this and this, and it just felt like this and this, and I'm like, I don't get that, but okay, like because I'm doing so much, and like even a friend of mine was like, oh, they were just really irritating me, and I'm like, I can't even feel that they were irritated, or I'm like, it's so weird.
Exactly.
Because I used to be able to pick that up and like go, oh, how must I do something about this? And now I don't even recognize it. And I can't even relate to when they're saying, this person makes me feel like this and this and this. I'm like, how? What did they, I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me.
Yes.
So, which is really, it's really interesting, you know, as you start unraveling on yourself, you just actually don't see it anymore.
Because you don't need to see it, because it's completely out of your universe. It's completely out of your universe. And it changes the way you relate to other people. And recently, it was so hilarious, Bev. I was on the phone with a soul sister of mine, one of the most sensitive souls I know. So she feels intuitively everything, you know, and we connect amazingly well. And she was struggling with this a certain topic, and she said, so in this situation, what would you say? And I said, I would say la la la. And she looked at me and she said, that's amazing. How do you come up with these one-liners? Because you kind of always know how to love the person, honor where they are, but love yourself too and honor you too. She said, and I said, yes, I guess I do. And then she said, oh, maybe you're just born with it. And at that stage, I just burst out laughing, and I laughed for like 5 solid minutes. I could not stop. It was such a victory. It was such, you know, I was so home. And she said, what's so funny? And I said, the fact that you think I was born this way. Until about 3 years ago, the way I lived my life was I was constantly looking for everyone to validate what I said, who I was, what I was doing, you see. And so what would happen was, and literally this is what would happen, is whether it was in the workplace, whether it was in my relationship, whether it was with girlfriends, it was like they would say, and this is it, we are such sensitive beings, we are such love beings, that we will turn ourselves inside out to be whatever people need us to be. You make them feel comfortable. Now, I'm also an intuitive and an empath, so I feel what other people are feeling. And I felt so bad most of my life because I'm picking up on all these vibes, feeling all of these emotions. I couldn't discern what was mine and what was not mine. I thought it was all mine. So I would spend my lifetime trying to make them feel okay so I could have some peace of mind. Right?
Yes.
But it never works out. It never works that way. So when she said, you must have been born that way, I said, until about 3 years back, almost everyone in my life would kind of say, dance, monkey, dance. And whatever they needed, that's how I dance. And as I dance, am I good enough now? Am I good enough now? And it was incredible to see that what was really holding me back was not them. It was me not believing how good enough I was, not embracing my authentic being and the perfection of my being. So it kind of trickles out in many ways. And their stuff now doesn't trigger my stuff because I've unraveled my stuff. Really trigger me anymore that way.
Yes.
There was one guy who said to me the other day, I'm sorry if I offended you. I said, do you know how difficult it is to offend me at this point? It's impossible. I take nothing personally. But I love you anyway.
That's cool. I like that. I like that sentence. Do you know how hard it is to offend me?
It's almost impossible, Annie. I haven't found it yet, at least for a while.
Oh wow. And do you know what sometimes is I find very interesting, and this is also to do with authenticity, and I just want to bounce this little idea off you. Sure. Now, sometimes, and I know this because I had this little thing happen with me today, is sometimes you will act completely like, I don't even know if it's like angry, vicious, maybe, or just like really like someone swore at me on the phone today. I'll just put it out there. Sure. Like actually like swore on the phone. And I immediately stopped and I said, I don't appreciate you swearing at me, and I do not accept that you're swearing at me. It didn't offend me. I thought to myself, no, you don't get to talk to me like that. And usually in the past I would have just kind of ignored it. But in this exact instance, I actually stepped into that space of no. And after I put I said that, this person didn't know what to say and put the phone down.
Exactly.
And I phoned them back and I said to them, have you calmed down now? Can we continue this conversation? And then it was very interesting for me to recognize that I still have that I can still have that but it is coming from a space of authenticity, of not allowing the other person to dishonor myself or them. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the beauty of the balance of authenticity, you see. So when we are authentic, when no one's treats me badly. Actually, people used to treat me badly before. And when I say badly, I mean like dismissive, or they would poke fun at me. And it was really interesting because like when I started taking on who I really am and started walking in the empowerment of that, it's really funny that people now, when they engage me, and I've had this feedback, they say, Lizette, you are friendly, you're open, I feel I can trust you with anything. You're so believable, but I would really not mess with you.
Yes.
You know, like they can feel that vibe of me. And it's like, oh, if you show me your teeth, I'll show you mine. It's absolutely okay. Yes. That's how you want to rumble. That's cool too. But I'll love you anyway. I'm just recognizing where you are.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I'm putting, but it's very different than a wall. You see that?
Yes.
So people are all welcomed in, because if you come in, I can defend myself too. Yes. I can leave the room too. Yes. And sometimes, like, I'll give myself full permission. Recently, I was sitting with the people, and they decided to start talking about politics and the state of the world and all that stuff. And I looked at them and I said, "It's an interesting choice, but I'm going to go read a book right now. See you later." And I totally wouldn't have done that before. I would have sat and been good.
Yes.
Given myself up.
Yes.
You know, suffered violence on my soul for like 2 hours.
Yes.
I smiled the whole time.
Yes.
That's actually being a doormat.
Yes. And I and you know what, I recognize this because when was it? It was yesterday. My fiance put something on with David Icke, and you can sometimes get into like a very interesting. And I was like, I listened to it for a little bit, and you know, sometimes you can get a little bit wrapped into it because it's like, oh, this and this alien, and they did this and they did this, and it's like, ha 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 ha. And yes, that exists in some formal space, but am I choosing to have that in my universe? So I said to him, are we really going to continue to listen to this? Like, can we like change it? And he's like, you know, like, I'm like, really, I'm over this. And even, it was so interesting because we've been working a lot. We've become raw vegan, which means part of the thing with veganism is recognizing that there is quite a lot of violence that happens with the way that they create food. And not necessarily that you have to believe in that thing, but when you become more sensitive, you recognize, how am I contributing to this? I am still contributing to this if I'm choosing this. So that's part of the reason why we've chosen the vegan path, because it's an active physical representation of what we're choosing, right? And it's so interesting because I didn't recognize, when we started first becoming vegan, was nothing to do with non-violence. It wasn't about the animals, I'll be honest. It really wasn't. Essentially, it was about our health, because it was deteriorating. And then only after we'd been vegan for a couple of months, then did I start to recognize, oh my goodness, look at all of this violence that you didn't even see. You can't even see it. You can't even, it's not even a part of your awareness, because you're so switched off. And then recognizing, when we went to watch a movie, now there's a lot of different movies out there, right? Independence Day and all these things. And we go and watch a movie because it's just a fun movie to go and watch a story.
Yes, you're pretty happy with our focus, with our energy.
Exactly. And now you recognize, this one's beating up, that one's beating up, this one's blood going there. And so this is violence that is being literally thrown at your brain in a 3-dimensional graphic environment. What is that doing to you?
Right. And I wrote a poem once, and it was pretty incredible. Like I said, I opened my eyes, and only then did I realize I'd been blind. You see, for some people, that's almost like a step too far. But once they start moving in this direction, so much more awareness, so much light comes in, that we automatically make different choices. And, I think you just nailed it there, because it's really not about, whereas old school transformation, paradigm shifting transformation is, let me do certain things to be good and to be right and to be superior, to have it all, or whatever the motivation may be. And really true transformation, heart-based and, heart-centered, conscious amazing authentic transformation is when we will start doing and serving what is right and allow it to unfold. And when my body is now saying, I don't want meat anymore, that I can hear it. I can actually be so in touch that I can do the right things for me right now in the beautiful unfolding. You see?
Completely.
No judgment, no rejection, flow, guidance, and presence. That's what we want.
You have nailed it on the head. Completely nailed it on the head. Because even we're now raw vegan, which for some people look at me and go, how do you even do that? And I'm like, it's just so easy. Like I couldn't even, it's like the most natural choice for me.
It is the most natural. It couldn't be more natural. Yeah, pretty insane. Yeah, we're pretty upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it hasn't been like this. Okay, I've got a goal. I want to become a raw vegan. Like it's not even.
And the suffering and the deprivation and the struggle and the efforting. You see, it's not that way. That's not the way anymore. You see.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And
work.
that's exactly what this work is about. Foundationally, it's really about. Transformation doesn't have to be difficult. It can be effortless. It can be easy. It can be natural. You see, it can be divinely guided and flow. And it's really not just about letting go of my dreams and letting go of my desires. If not more now, I have higher desires and greater ambitions than I ever had before because I see what's possible and I can start creating it from that space. Awesome. So do you want to hear? Do you want to hear lesson 3?
Yes.
This is my favorite. The other 2 are so good, but this one is my favorite. And it came to me because I was actually looking at a butterfly once, like really looking at it. And I noticed it kind of said to me, I never really see my wings. So it was so interesting, like as I heard that, and it's my absolute favorite, I realized something that, I mean, we clearly see our little friend in all its divine beauty, in all its incredible perfection, and in all its elegance, and it's just standing there with his wings, but it does not himself have a neck to turn around and see itself. And I recognize that this is how I really think how Source, how God, how love looks at us. It looks at us, and our perfection is obvious to it. It is obvious. Of course we are perfect. But we don't have that vision, you see. We have an outward vision, just like the butterfly. And what we're looking for is we're looking out into this world and trying to figure out who we are and trying to make sense of it all. My place in the universe. And what we are basing our mirror on is the reaction of others, their approval, their rejection, their acceptance, their agreement, or the lack of it. Right? So that's going to be one to tell me who I am, the circumstances in my life and how well I'm doing. Yes? So am I rich and am I poor? Where do I belong? And also these results, that we are managing to achieve or not to achieve, as the case may be, to measure how good we are, how worthy we are. And what I've understood is we are completely looking in the wrong direction.
Yes.
We completely have the wrong mirror. Our mirror is not outward speaking in. It is inward reflecting into the reality. Yes. You see?
Yes.
And the reality can change the minute that inward focus is changing.
Yes.
And that is our true empowerment.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And I love that, a butterfly cannot see its wings. So people who are listening to us on the call right now, you've got wings. FYI.
That's right. You are a magnificent, amazing, perfect being. Yes.
And one other thing I want to mention is, as we're watching you on the show right now, you've got the sun setting behind you. And sometimes as you move, there's this bright white light that's coming out above your head.
Wow.
And it's very interesting because it's like, as you're speaking about, the reflection of who you are, it's like, hello, you're light. Hello. Here you are, light, here's the light. Like, watch me. And it's almost as if you're glowing this light at us and saying, wake up, like, hello, wake up, come on, there you go. It's unbelievable because I can feel this energy right up here, and it's it's very exciting. I'm just
It's
letting you know.
beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. And you know what it is? It's just you.
Mm,
It's just alignment with you. That is the beautiful energy, because you are so amazing
mm,
that the more you come into you and the more you come into alignment of the love that you are,
mm,
the more that this orgasmic, light-filled
mm,
energy is you, you know?
mm,
So that's
mm,
why all the other stuff feels so terrible.
mm.
It's because it's not you. All the guilt and the shame and the rejection, it's because it's got nothing to do with you.
Yes,
So it comes into your universe and your being is saying, ooh, this
yes,
is not us.
yes.
What is it hanging around for?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna give a really kind of maybe gross analogy, but it's kind of like if you're looking through a bit of poo, and then there's a bit of broccoli and a bit of cauliflower, and it's not yours. Don't touch it. Don't go
It's
there.
not
Leave
yours.
it alone.
It's really not yours. It's really not yours. And it's been brought in through this mirror, which you've been looking at, which
Mm,
is looking so real, you know? So I've always heard that, life is called an illusion. I actually don't think it's an illusion.
mm,
I think it's really real, but it's happening.
mm.
However, the fact that it is stuck in time, or that it has to be this, or
Ah,
what it means is an illusion, you see,
ah,
because it can shift
ah.
the minute I create something new.
Wow, I love that. It's what it means is an illusion because it's in your mind.
Exactly.
It's when this is what the beauty that I love with the now moment is, because when you're in the now moment, you kind of are not in your mind anymore.
That's
It's
right. You're
you
in your
can
being.
actually see things what they really are,
Hmm.
not from the meaning in your mind.
Absolutely. And also, because this is so transitory, it
Mm,
also means, as a co-creator, that I am actually deciding where to place my focus and
mm,
allow that to grow in my life. So
mm.
that's how we transform our life, is by choosing what we focus on deliberately, watching our energy, and not as another task to do,
Yes,
but as a
yes,
loving relationship with feeling great. You see?
yes,
So basically what I do is I go around all day long trying to feel as good as I possibly can. And I promise you, it has created miracles.
yes. I know it is, hey. It really does. It
It
really, really,
really
really
does.
does.
It really
Wow.
does.
I
But
really love
it was really funny, because even I was preparing for this call, and I was wondering, what was an example of how practically this
it.
lesson has shown up in my world. And
Mm,
actually it shows up with the people that love us the
mm,
most well-intentioned people. And
mm,
in my case, it played out very big on a big stage with my dad. And
mm,
I absolutely loved my father. There's no one on the planet that has loved me more.
mm,
And he had given me such great lessons. Like, he made me believe I was a superstar. I could do anything I wanted. These
mm,
are tools that I still use. These are frameworks that have served me well.
mm,
But my dad also had a lot of fear around, and a lot of beliefs around hard work, security,
mm,
money. So
mm,
I remember when I was a child, and he said to me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I said, "I think I want to speak.
mm,
It's really the only thing I'm good at." It's like, well, it just made complete sense to me. I love doing it. I was really good at it.
mm,
And I thought, I absolutely love doing this. I think I was born to speak. And he said, "You can't make any money from that. And immediately, from his paradigm, it was
mm,
an immediate limitation of, but you can't do this. So we
mhm.
get labels like, we live in the clouds. We can always dream. You can always
Yes,
dream.
fairyland, fairyland.
Fairyland, or they give you the worst one, which is, you crazy. You completely nuts, right?
Yes.
I got that one a lot. And as my life went on, one of the first jobs that I got was working in the civil register at the municipality. I was
Yes.
in Portugal, and you could not have seen a prouder father. He was thinking, government job, she's set for life.
Yes.
It's perfect. It's a respectable job, and
Mm,
it was wonderful. I got home after 3 days and I quit. And he said,
yes.
"You are crazy." Again, it was like this, "You crazy." And I said, "I could just feel my soul dying. I
Mm,
can't be there, you
mm,
know. But of course, we want to be good and responsible. Fast forward like 15 years later, I've got a
mm,
corporate career. Uh,
mm,
I've got the Mercedes-Benz lease car.
mm,
I've got the office, my name on the door,
mm,
travel around the world. And then I said, my soul is dying. I feel I need to start something different. I'm going to start my own training company. I feel
mm.
guided to do that. Reaction of my folks: "You are crazy. You are
Yes.
nuts."
Yes. I love it.
Always, right? And then, I mean, I fast forward 4 years from that moment, because I started my business in 2012. Since then, I've launched another one.
Mm.
But, now I live in by the beach. I have a second home in the sun, and I have a prosperous business, and I'm financially free. And it's literally created the life and quantum leap me forward. And I never would have done it had I believed my dad, and that was the mirror for me so long. I actually probably didn't do it sooner because of that belief. So the first time, Bev, I booked my first keynote arrangement, right? They asked me to come on stage. I charged €3,500 for 3 hours.
Wow.
Now, I had done it. I had done what I had said I was going to do when I was 8. And this completely blew up my dad's mind.
Wow.
He could not understand, how can someone make €3,500 to talk for 3 hours about something they love, and it was effortless. And he had no idea I was still cheap, and I was just discovering what I really should be charging at that point. But what was so amazing about that is that, and this was the whole point, like when he started getting sick and he passed a year after that. But it was amazing that he got to see that moment. And when he transitioned, I know he's still chilling and watching me now, so that's all good. But one of the most powerful things that happened in my world was the day that he said to me, Lizete, I think I have to apologize to you because I knew you were great, but I did not have the imagination to believe what you had come here to do. So my dad, and this is what I want to share with you guys, it's like, it's not even that we can see our wings, but even those we love don't see our wings. They can't see us clearly because they are also looking through the mirrors that are completely messed up, with their limitations and their separations and all their stuff. So they don't get to see you. And as sensitive people, and this is what I say, it's like, love them, forgive them their unbelief, appreciate them, heed their warning, but follow your dream. Because the truth is, we feel this greatness inside of us. We all do, right, Bev? You feel it too?
Oh, definitely.
You feel the expansion that you are and the power that you are to create whatever it is that you want. And do not ever let someone say you can't do it. Because honestly, it's about changing your compass. It's changing your mirror. And it's knowing your wings, even if no one has seen them yet. You know what I mean?
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love butterflies have always been, since I was a baby, I've always had butterflies around me. I've always loved butterflies. If there's one thing you could get me for a gift, if it has butterflies on, I'm just the happiest thing ever. So butterflies have always been a big symbol for me of, yes, transformation, discovering your magnificence and all of those kinds of things. But the way that you've just said that you can't see your wings, that is not something that I've heard before, and it is so profound, and so it makes so much sense, and it's so true. And I absolutely love it. It definitely gives people who maybe feel like they're crazy, and people keep telling them they're crazy, gives them hope, because I've been told I'm crazy so many times. It's crazy. And now I own it. I'm like, yes, I'm crazy. Okay, I'm crazy. Can we just get over this already? Really?
I'm crazy. And I'll tell you the upside of it, because I've seen it in my life. I've always followed my crazy because for me, there simply was not an option not to. The torment of staying where I was too great. So I had no choice but to follow divine guidance into what it was showing me. And although everyone around me thought it was crazy, and it's not a sad story, but it's really to encourage you that even without the support of others, you can do this. But the upside is, when you step into this, you become so much happier, so much more joyful, so much more successful, so much more flow, that even those that didn't get you, they got to stop and pay attention.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And very soon they start turning and they start asking, how the hell did you do this? Because this could not be lucky again. Like luck until small. But there's something you're doing, girl, that is different. Yes. And I'm like, are you ready to listen now to my crazy?
Yes.
I am a profound teacher, honey. I create universes.
Yes.
But you're not ready for it, so don't call me crazy, right? So we don't have to take them too seriously, because I promise you they actually do get on board
Yes.
when the evidence is so there.
Yes.
And even the ones that don't get on board, they really respect you because you show up as authentic, and there's not a lot of people out there
Yes.
that have the guts to do that.
Yes.
You see.
Exactly.
So at least you walk away with their respect, and
Exactly.
you have, which is awesome.
Exactly. I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. And I love the thing that you said about the imagination. That is totally true, that they don't necessarily have the imagination that you have. It's in your head, it's in your mind, it's your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Your vision to bring this out in the world. This is your creation, and other people might not get it, and that's okay, because you're okay, and your wings are there, and everything is going to fall into place. Just keep on that path.
That's right. Yeah.
And be authentic. So what I want to do is I actually want to just open up and let everyone know about the amazing, amazing, amazing offer that you have for us today. I'm just pulling it up here quickly. We have an offer from Lizete, which is it's a 7-week online training, and it's called Living Your Authentic Voice Essential Blueprint. Did I get it right, Lizete? Did I get it right?
Perfection.
Yeah, brownie points for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the offer here in the chat. If you can see it there, Lizete is offering this. This is actually a seven week course. And it's got 7 activations as well as videos. It's launching on the 29th of August. I've just written it down here. So if you see me looking down on the page, it's because I'm looking on the page that I wrote it on. And it's usually $597, but she's got a special on, especially for the Love Your Life show. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
For $299, and this is 7 weeks of training. And I'm sure you can see and feel that Lizete has got so much authenticity to help you to connect with your authenticity, to help you to recognize that she can see your wings. So even if you can't see them, she's going to say, girlfriend or boyfriend or, human, your wings are there. I can see them. Or butterfly, your wings are there. Just FYI. There's the light. Can you see?
Absolutely.
So
for every transformation, we need a chrysalis. You
Yes.
see, even when the caterpillar goes in, that cocoon needs a chrysalis to change. And the idea behind the 7-week program is to create that community and create that cocoon for these amazing women to come through and to go through these 5 steps, because there is literally 5 steps. It's not, these 3 lessons are just part of step 1 when we talk about awakening, and it's only 3 out of 7, right? So there's another 4 huge beliefs that hold us back. But there's also the discovering, who are we really? Meeting my high self and my little one and all my soul and my heart and my spirit. How does this all gel together and work to create this amazing being? And then connection to my high self, because we can say just be yourself. But most people, we are so out of touch, and we've been out of touch for so long. That connection is not a given, although it's natural once you know how. And that's what that's about. And then we want to do step 4, which is unraveling. We're going to get rid of illusions of judgment. We're going to get rid of shame. We're going to get rid of, and we just got to unravel fear. I mean, it's so exciting. These processes are so cutting edge. And then we're going to integrate it. We're going to bring it all together into life with us, in our romance, in our career, in our purpose, and really unleash the new us in these 7 weeks. So.
Watch out, world. And I believe you're limiting the amount of people, ladies specifically, that you're having in this is limited to 30 ladies only. So for those of you who click on this link, it's not going to take you to a place where you can purchase it, but you're going to get onto the list, which is the pre-launch list. So
exactly, the pre-registration.
Pre-registration. So you're getting an exclusive spot here that you're not going to be able to get when it launches, and you're not going to be able to get this this incredible offer when it launches. So I'd highly recommend that you go and click on that little registration here, and you go ahead and sign up. And then once everything is set up for the launch, Lizete will send you all of that information as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Exciting stuff. I'm so excited. has been so much fun.
Absolutely. I've had a blast, and sorry for my dog bark. This is the problem of doing interviews in your backyard, you see.
Well, I think it was blissful because we had the sun shining, and it's like, I mean, it's evening here in South Africa. It's 8:30 in the evening, so it's wonderful that I get to see the sunshine, even though the sun is set here. I'm still experiencing the light, which is a great reflection for me to see right now. I'm pretty happy with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful analogy. Yeah.
All right,
Love it.
Lizette. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're gonna sign on off here. If you haven't had a chance to click on the link, it's there now. You can go and have a click there. Fill in your details. Lizette will get back to you with that authentic voice. The Living Your Authentic Voice Essential Blueprint. It is up there as well. So just click on the link and off you go. Have a great time. Enjoy that. And Lizette, you want to give us a final shout out, a final goodbye?
Absolutely. I just want to encourage you guys that you are awesome. You're wonderful. The world has yet to see your voice, and if you are in that place where you're living your authentic voice, just keep on going, because we really need more and more and more of it. So thank you just for being here, and thank you for the light that you are. Blessings to you.
Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little goodbye to you as well. Thank you for coming and joining us on the show today. And there's going to be some more shows coming up, and I'm loving playing with all of you, and it's a great fun to have you here. So thank you to you. Thank you to Lizette for being on the show and for your authentic love. And everyone there, may you find your authentic voice, and I look forward to seeing you and meeting you in the near future. Yay. Thank you so much.